Hello, 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 beautiful creatures of the internet. I'm Mango Jones, of course. Once again, we are going to be visiting my new favorite book. You guys are going to hate me, and it's okay. Down in the description, like always, there are links to resource hubs for LGBTQIA plus individuals and their families. There are also reproductive health resources for all of the he, she's, and theys with and without uteruses. So that's a thing. There's also donation thingies down there, but I would honestly prefer that you donate to the Satanic Temple Reproductive Rights Legal Aid Fund, and there is a direct link to that donation option down below. Okay, so I know my name might be confusing tonight, Lizard's property, apparently. If you would like to know the story behind my name, then please go to Lizard's backup channel because he currently has a community guideline strike and cannot stream on his. So that link is now in the chat. Go subscribe to the backup channel. We are going to be doing brunch on the backup channel this Sunday, I do believe. And Lizard can correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, apparently I'm property. People are lovely. All right, so let me say hi to everyone, and then I will give y'all a brief recap of where we are in this book, and then we'll get right into it because, God, I love this book. And I love you all. Thank you for being here with me. Hey, Blue Lamp, Ami, Paris, I'm glad that you're here. Hey, Milk. I was worried I would be late, but now I debate starting a beer or getting a coffee. All things considered with this book, I recommend the beer. I wish I had a beer. Such is life. Hey, J Mag, it's nice to see you again. Bill, thank you for being here. I still personally believe, Bill, that you and Liberty Adams would have fantastic conversations. I would love to see that happen one day. And if she ever gets in touch because she's mad that I am reading her book on the internet, then I will send her your way. Hey, Rav. Oh boy, gonna need a tall. Yes, you're going to need a tall one for this. And absolutely beer. It's Friday night. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh, friendly reminder before I start doing this. According to U.S. Code 17, subsection 130, under copyright law, I have every right to do this because it is a derivative performance. I'm not showing the actual book. I'm not showing any of the pages. I am just reading it and adding commentary. Ergo, derivative work completely within the copyright law. Suck it. Okay. Let's recap. So, Liberty Adams, the writer, the pen name for the book. She is a conservative woman that lives in the Rockies, is a mother, community volunteer, has many MAGA hats and different styles that she wears. So that's where she is. This book is about Ricky, the pixie-cut, green-haired girl who is getting her master's degree in gender studies, is trying to join a society called the Sisterhood, which is a feminist activist group. Apparently she's like a fourth wave radical feminist and is written like a meme, like just a Facebook meme of a liberal. That is Ricky. Mike, the conservative, hardworking man who for some reason Ricky wants to like insult his grandfather. I don't know. They keep bringing up grandfathers and dads. Yeah. Oh, and anti-fascists were paid to light fires at Trump rallies. Trump is not a racist. There were many minorities in attendance at the Trump rally in this book. And Ricky has to somehow write a blog post about how everyone's racist there. And yeah, it's so bad, you guys. Okay, like if you missed the first part, please go back and watch it because it's fucking terrible. I'm so sorry. Yes, you most definitely need to go grab that beer. Yeah. All right, you guys. We are on chapter 5. Now, if you remember where we ended off, Mike stalked Ricky out of the conference or out of the rally, and she got attacked by anti-fascists with bike locks and bats. And he grabbed her arm and like tore her away from everyone and got rescued by his foreman that he works with. And now they're going to a diner. Yes, all of the rapey undertones are correct, by the way. So, here we go. Chapter 5. 2 mugs clattered onto the counter. Hot, black coffee poured into the cup. Sally, the waitress working the counter tonight, eyed him. Blonde and sweet? Mike looked at Ricky, then at Sally. You said it, sailor. They both laughed as she slid over the cream and sugar. They always shared this joke. Okay, like, this is supposed to be, a 20-something-year-old dude that works really hard, and he's telling jokes at the diner like he's a really old man. Liberty, your daddy issues show through even more when you do stuff like this. Thank you. Just popped some weed gummies. It might not make it better, but judging from part 1, it'll make it, yes, it will make it easier. It'll be much, much easier. Let's continue. Coffee. Ricky was staring at both of them like they spoke a foreign language. The girl needed to relax a bit if she ever hoped to get through a meal in this place. She looked down into her lap. Her lips moved. She mumbled something. What? Speak up. The waitress looked at Ricky with one brow arched. The pot of coffee was clutched in her fist, a bit like a hot poker she might use. Yes, please. Coffee splashed into the empty mug. The waitress stalked off. Just what the hell did that mean? She said, blonde and sweet. Yeah, like women. Get it? No? But, yeah. Her mouth turned down into a pout. Here, let me show you. He tipped the cream pitcher, blonde. His coffee changed from rich brownish black to caramel. Now sweet. He dumped sugar into his spoon and stirred up his coffee. You rad feminists need to learn to relax. It's a joke, okay? Got nothing to do with you. Except there was a head of striking blonde hair beneath the green shit. On second thought... Well, yeah, there's going to be blonde underneath the green hair dye, but you don't have to call it green shit. That's how hair dye works. Liberty. Touch grass. Please. Continuing. Don't you ever get tired of that? Tired of what? Being mad all the time. Her jaw clenched again. I'm not mad. Okay. He wanted to say more, but then she reached for the sugar and cream for herself. Ah, somebody who knows what good coffee's all about. Okay, dude. Come on. Don't be a coffee snob. The only coffee snob that's allowed to be around these parts is Rav. Okay? He knows good coffee. I thought you believed in ladies first. She carefully poured out measures of cream and sugar and stirred them into her cup, because that's how you make coffee, you guys. Just so you know. Touché, he said. If he looked past the anger, he could see in her the barest hint of sweet. Yeah. Sally plopped down the order book. She scribbled without looking at Mike. Your usual? Yes, please. Because that's how ordering goes. Remember this, guys. That's how you're supposed to order food. This time, she glanced up at Ricky. Just coffee. Why aren't you eating? The hands went to her lap again, twisting a ring on her finger. I didn't bring any money. Here, I'm the one who dragged you out of the rain and away from the mob against your will. I'm buying. Her cheek and ear were turning pink. He ignored her embarrassment and turned to the waitress. Sally, bring her what you bring me. I'm not eating alone. Sure thing, Mike. Wait. She waved away the menu Sally held out. Grilled cheese with fries, please. Whole wheat. Sally wrote out the order, then refilled their coffees. Okay. That's just Liberty. People are good sometimes. They help mentally with whatever you're dealing with. Do you have to explain how to order stuff at a diner? Did you have to teach us how nodding our head works? Up and down motions last time. Yeah. Are you going to teach us how to shake our head? No, it's a side to side motion. Please keep teaching us basic things, especially in a romance novel that's meant for adults. Yeah. Ricky sat back and looked around the place, seeming to like what she saw. She sipped, her jaw unclenched. She even raised her cup. Cheers. Their eyes met as he lightly clinked his rim to hers. To intersectionality. Okay. I have so many regrets already. We're one page into chapter 5 and I already regret starting this. I am terribly sorry, you guys. It's only going to get worse. Fuck. Okay. Are you making fun of me? Of course not, he said, pretending to be offended. Intersectionality works for everybody if you think about it. No, it doesn't. You don't know what you're talking about. Of course I do. You think you get to make the rules, but your rules only exist in your twisted world. It's not even a word. If you're intersectional for what? Being female with green hair and white? I'm 1/4 Mexican. Then I'm intersectional for white and male and Scottish Swedish descent, and that makes me less than human, at least according to your people, right? Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. Okay. I'll get a little bit for then we'll unpack it in just a moment. She scoffed. You're so sure you know it all. It's just your white male privilege, he sighed. I still say it goes both ways, and my rule is just as legitimate as yours. In fact, more so. You've got one sliver of the universe who believes the way you do. I've got everything else on my side. Oh, yep. There we go. The straight white male privilege already showing its head in this book. Right there. Yep. This is already torture, and I just tuned. Yep. Hey, Lizard, how's it going? Yep. Yep. Just remember, he's got everything else on his side because he's white and straight and male. Also, intersectionality. He expected back a dose of shrill female effective railing about mansplaining, but all she did was glare, like she couldn't think of anything to say. He stared back, thinking what pretty blue eyes she had. Oh, God. After a few seconds, she looked away. He wasn't going to budge an inch with this one. At another time in his life, he would have let this type nail him. Not anymore. Michelle, his sister, had helped a lot with that. What? Okay, let's unpack a few things here. Okay. Lizard, you're fired. Okay, so they had an entire conversation on intersectionality, right? Like there's a really bad conversation on intersectionality. Okay. So, everyone, the definition of intersectionality, just so we're all aware, is the interconnected nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarded as creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. Okay. That's intersectionality. Intersectionality generally has a lot to do. They don't, Lizard. You must have missed the conversation about intersectionality that they had, where he was talking about intersectionality. And you're intersectional for being female with green hair and white. And he's intersectional for being white and male and of Scottish, Swedish descent. Like, that's how they used intersectionality. That's what they chose. Guys, please understand that if you are a straight white male of even whiter descent, and you're like the whitest of the white, intersectionality does not apply to you. It doesn't. Intersectionality barely applies to me because I am a female. I am a cis female. Okay. The only way that it applies to me in any sort of fucking sense is when it comes to medical care. And that's it. But even then, women of color are more likely to get way worse medical care than I would. Medical care for females is already subpar, but it becomes even worse when you are a woman of color. Just saying. Yes, the people in this book are indeed Wonder Bread white, much like Lizard, who is Wonder Bread white. I've had that conversation with the PragerU crowd. That's basically how they understand it. Well, then they don't understand it, you know? They don't. They don't understand it at all. The pan struggle is real, but, you know, I get a lot of benefits for being a cis white female, to be honest here. Come on, weed gummies kicking already? No, they want you to be tortured just a little bit more. And that's what I'm about to do. Y'all are allowed to hate me, I promise. Ricky's hands were small. They barely fit around the cup. A ring, petite like her, set with a green stone, circled her middle finger. He reached over and touched it, very lightly. The tip of his finger covered the stone. This is why YouTube needs to dislike, but this is why, because I'm picking on you for being white and straight and male. I think I'm allowed to do that. Just saying. It's fun. Also, friendly reminder, everyone, that Nutgate is a thing. Lizard and Peanut are getting married this year. I will officiate. Allie Dean Human Bean is going to be the flower girl. Nutgate. Ha. Oh, also, they still have a dislike button. It's still there. Like, creators themselves can see the ratio. It's just that everyone else can't. Challenging. Okay. All right, continuing. He reached over and touched it very lightly. The tip of his finger covered the stone. Nice. You needed a whole line just to say nice. And you didn't even end the quotation. It's just open quote, nice period. And then the next line starts with open quote. Get an editor, Liberty. Continuing. Thanks. She studied it. It used to belong to my grandmother. The repartee was interrupted by Sally's elbows as she plunked down plates. Hot sauce and ketchup followed. Mike screwed open the hot sauce bottle and turned to her. So, why did you give away my seat earlier on the subway? I didn't give it away. You did. I saved it for you. I would have sat there myself. She shrugged and sipped her coffee. Wasn't your seat. Do you not like people being nice to you? You reject guys when they act like gentlemen? He pointed to her ring. You got that from your grandmother. Well, I had a grandfather who taught me to treat women with respect. Ladies first was always his motto. It's mine too. And we're back to this. How many times are they going to say ladies first in this book? I know it's the title, but you keep bringing up grandparents, keep bringing up daddy and granddaddy issues. Look, Mr. Yeah, just wait. We'll fight about it later, okay? Sound good? I bet her editor was some grandma that writes for the town. Probably. It's a good thought. Gentlemen, she spoke the word with contempt. They're useless. Useless? I saved your ass from a mob out for blood. She paused. Yeah, thanks. What were you doing at the rally? Research for a blog post I'm writing. Again with the blog post. Always talking about blog posts. We get it. You write a fucking blog, bitch. Oh yeah? What blog? It's called Petra's Parlance. Not that you've ever heard of it. Who's Petra? Me. You're right. I've never heard of it. Fascinating conversation, you guys. We are learning so much about these characters. His name is Mike. That's probably because you just watch Fox News or read Breitbart. All of the above, plus Investors Business Daily. Ah, yes, she said, that conservative business rag. I might have known. Anyway, I'm hoping this post gets me some readers. Well, Petra's Parlance, I'm sure you'll tell the world all about the redneck racists. No, it does not. It does not matter. It really doesn't. Stimulating like a misfired neuron. Yep. Abso-fucking-lutely. Ladies first, genocidal romantic fantasy. That's the idea, she grinned and stuffed a fry into her mouth. So, I'll be the big bad racist spewing hate speech while a vicious redneck mob tried to attack you for wearing a Hillary t-shirt? Something like that. And how many did you find? Several. She twirled another fry into her ketchup. He chewed on his inside lip a bit, trying to figure something out. He drew out his phone from his back pocket and sat back in his chair. No, how many did you actually talk to? Give me a number. You'll find out when you read it. What you mean is 0, so you'll just lie about it. Yeah, guys, please remember that there were absolutely 0 racists at the fictional 2020 Trump rally in this book. And the anti-fascists are paid actors that set everything on fire. Ricky shrugged. Doesn't matter, she said. All that matters is balancing out the historic oppressors with the oppressed. Yeah, right. And what did you say the name of that blog was? Petra's Parlance. He typed it into a search bar. Let's see here. How to incorporate activism in your daily life. Radical chic on a budget. And you're Petra? That's right. Nice pen name. Thanks, I like it. Well, no fucking shit, you like it. Why does this sound like a hostage interrogation? Because it is, Lizard. It very much is. They are currently at a diner. She does not have a vehicle. He had them dropped off by his foreman, who calls Mike boss. I don't know. I don't get it. But yes, this is very much a hostage interrogation. Thank you for pointing it out. He scrolled through the phone, looking carefully at the screen. God, this is some great reading here. Thanks, Petra. More coffee? Sally raised the pot in question, ready to pour. I forgot Sally was there. Welcome back, Sally. Sure, said Mike. You're dangerous with that pot tonight. My weapon of choice. None for me, thanks, said Ricky. She turned to him. Hey, it's been great. Thanks for all your help, and thanks for the meal. This is a great place. It really is, but, well, how can I get home? You know that you can order an Uber. Y'all were just talking about getting an Uber in the last chapter. I'll take you. I live with my twin sister 2 blocks over. We'll walk there and get my truck. He grabbed the check from the counter. Let's go. And that was the end of chapter 5 already. Oh no, I'm missing part 2. I will catch the replay, just stopping by to show love and lick the... Yes. You very much should lick the like button. I like it when you do it slowly. Radical chic on a budget is the most cliche liberal shit I've ever... Yes. Yeah. It is very much cliche liberal shit. It's the type of shit that conservatives think that liberals do and write about and talk about all the time. Yeah. I didn't know that radical chic was a thing, to be honest. Maybe I should look it up. You're right. The characters shouldn't disappear. They should not. You're using the same tone letter. Can you? Well, okay. What you have to remember here, Ami, is that this book is very dry. For trying to be a romance, it is very dry. There's a lot of rape-esque things in it. But beyond that, so dry. It's like the Sahara over here. This makes a funeral home look like a fun house. Yes. But to be fair, there's a lot of funeral homes that have playrooms. They're pretty exciting. Just a thought. All right. Chapter 6, you guys. We are 27 minutes into this stream, and we are on chapter 6, page 29 of 79. 50 more pages to go, but I don't think I'll make it through all of it tonight because, well, this is rough. Let's see how far we get. Okay. If she were a different female, he'd be holding her hand. No. 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 You were already stalking her. You sounded really rapey when talking about her. Don't touch her. Do not touch. Bad. Conservative romance is very dry. Just ask Ben Shapiro. Yes. You're right. My mistake. He'd wrap it, small and soft, in his larger, rougher one. She could be, would be, his girl. No. 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 Liberty, stop. This is bad. He shook his head to get rid of the image. It could never happen. Not possible. Of course it's not possible. It's rapey. It is rapey. No. Instead, he asked, where's home? My parents' house. It's not too far from here. You still live with your parents? No. I have an apartment with my best friend, but I'd rather stay at their house. She inched closer to him. Do you always get riots at those rallies? I don't know, he said. Never went to a rally before. What did you think? He chuckled and grinned at her. What do you think I thought? You liked it? Damn right I liked it. Awesome to be in company with such great patriots. Once again, I would like to remind everyone that this book was written before the events of January 6, 2021. I don't know what maybe that's why Liberty's second book isn't available. I'd figure that out. Yes, it very much is a moment of stranger danger. Guys, if you ever meet a mic, do not go near a mic. Well, he's a rape. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Patriots. I haven't used that word since grade school. We are the greatest nation in the history of the world, you know. Too bad you don't appreciate that stuff. You ought to try it sometime. I'll think about it, she said. She was being sarcastic, but at least she didn't spout off about racism and colonialism. The lady I sat next to at the rally told me the president almost always introduces a veteran. It was impressive. No, he doesn't. No. No. No, we are not. We are not. Impressive. That might be the best she would come up with when it came to the love of her country. Maybe she was just being polite. But he had the feeling that she was building up to something. Do you think, she said, I could stop in at your place and rinse the color out of my hair, wash my face? This surprised him. Stop at his place? Yeah, she could stop in. It was a place any man would be happy to bring a girl, even a man who lived with his sister, though he'd brought home very few. She could have asked to move in, and he'd probably have said yes. Jesus Christ, Mike, you just met the bitch. You just met her. You stalked her. Stop. Liberty, you're setting this up for failure here. Setting him up for an arrest record. Yeah. Hey, J. Choi. Hey, Rotbeast. Okay. The black glop running down your face? Why would you want to take it off? She raised her hands to her cheek, wide-eyed. Oh my God, I forgot all about that. The rain and everything. All I could think of was getting away from, I must look awful. You look like an orphan. It's cute. Guys, she looks like an orphan. And it's cute. This grown woman, this petite grown woman, looks like an orphan. And it's cute. Okay. Just, I don't know what to make of that one. That's uncomfortable. Sounds like he went to the Bill Cosby School of Love. Yes, it does. But it's love at first sight. No restraining order can keep them apart. Yup. Does Liberty imagine herself as the man? Maybe. This story makes me uncomfortable too, Milky. Y'all need to remember, I'm going into this just as blind as you guys are. I've never read this book before. Instead, I'm reading it with you and judging it deeply. Ami, you're fired. How does one look like an orphan? I am not sure. It's a great question. One that I do not know the answer to. I assume that he's saying that she looks like a homeless child. And that's uncomfortable because she's a grown woman. Yeah. Blue lamp. I do not agree. This is not good stuff. This is bad stuff. This is the awkward, uncomfortable, terrible stuff. This is not the good stuff. Not the good stuff. Why does this sound more and more like it would be suited in 1930s? Yeah. Yep. Rev looks like a balding orphan with scurvy. Yeah. And anger issues. And yeah. That's fair. You can go out in the canon. I support that. But let's not. This is all in Minecraft. His thoughts. I want to fuck the kid I see when I look in your face. Jesus Christ, Bill, I love you. Yeah, that's the one. That's it. That's the one. Bill gets it. She didn't react, just kept walking. My parents don't like it. Probably a generational thing. But they're my mother and father. I indulge them. Really? You actually honor your father and mother? Like the 10 Commandments? There's hope for you yet. He shrugged. But I don't mind taking you to your apartment. How far is it? The university. But that's not it. She was shaking her head. All these things of hers were digging at him in a strange way. She kept showing a side of herself that belied the phony feminist crap she spouted. It threw him off balance. She even grabbed his bicep and moved in close to him. Under her soft hand, his arm felt like a rock, an anchor, but she didn't seem to notice. He was afraid she would let go if she realized what she was doing. He didn't want her to let go. He hadn't had the feeling of a girl on his arm in a while. Guys, it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. I'm afraid. There it was, coming out again. The girl side of her. The side that needed somebody like him next to her. Afraid of what? She's always been a girl. Through this entire book, so far, she has always been a girl. There is no girl side of her. She's always been a girl. Always been a girl. Always been a girl. Liberty grass. Touch it. People. Talk to them. Internet. Get off of it. It's good for you. Brayden does sound like a loser. Thank you, Lizard. This might make a fantastic comedy if they replace the dude with Blackbeard and the lady with his... Yes. This hurts, but I'm intrigued. Yeah, I know. Actually, Lizard and I were talking because he had to move his stream over to the backup channel, and we were figuring out how to like get the word out about his channel switch. You know, can't post on his community tab. But we were talking about this because, well, he listened while at work. It's torture. It's always torture. And we both came to the agreement that this book is fucking horrible, but we need to know what happens next because it's horrible. And I think that that is the consensus across like everyone at this point now is that this is terrible. I need to know. Rot, you are the adult. You are the adult. I know you might need an adultier adult, but you're the adult. Evening. How's it going, Gavin? Like, welcome. Yeah. Let's continue to torture you guys, shall we? She stopped. They hadn't reached the sidewalk yet. They stood in the middle of the roadway. She wanted to make a point, but he had to scoot her gently out of the way of traffic. What? He had to scoot her out of the way of traffic. She's a grown woman. Guys, don't write stuff like this. Please. Please. I beg of you. Here she was, calling men, husbands, and fathers useless when she couldn't even look both ways crossing the street. Christ, she required a babysitter. Liberty, you require a babysitter. Do you see what happens when you're left alone? In front of him and facing him, but still holding his arm, her eyes were full of trust. That mob tonight, thanks for getting me away from them. You and, what's his name, your foreman? Ronan. Yeah, that's right. It was scary. Yeah, I'm sure it was scary with all those paid actor anti-fascists lighting fires at the Trump rally. So that's a totally real scenario, you guys. Remember that. Fucking hell. That's the difference between you and me. What do you mean? You weren't afraid? I was afraid, but it's not something I mess with. I saw what was happening and I got us out of there. But you hesitated. It could have brought all of us down. You, me, even Ronan. How did I know you weren't some rapist or serial murderer? He sounds like a rapist, honey. Like, eh. She had a point. But he didn't want to argue then or now. Fair enough. And look where you ended up. A meal, a ride home to mom and dad, and me in my truck, all in the same night. And don't worry, my sister has shampoo and whatever else you need. Guys, that's how they ended the chapter. That's how they ended the chapter. This is the live leak of Amazon. Yes, it is the live leak of Amazon books. Oh, by the way, Lizard, I am going to make you a mod so that way if like bots and shit show up, you can handle it. Thank you. You left your adult card behind? Fuck. Damn, I don't think we have any in this chat then. Shit. If this doesn't convert you to communism, then nothing will. Fair. How does she not see that he is now? Well, he's doing a very, very good job of hiding it, I guess. And Liberty's just letting us know about his rapey ways by writing about it. Thanks, Liberty, for telling us that Braden, Hayden, Jaden, whatever fucking conservative white dude's name is a rapist. Thank you. I can still time you out. Not quite invincible, but close enough. All right, guys. We have made it 42 minutes in to the stream. We are on chapter 7 of this terrible book. Are you guys ready? Let's get into it. And you went to the rally, exactly why? Michelle's question contained a faint bit of skepticism. Ricky could tell that Mike's sister had doubts about the woman she was helping out right now. Doubts any woman might have for another, especially one who had appeared on her doorstep in the company of her roommate brother. Michelle handed Ricky the makeup remover and a cleansing cloth. Ricky began to apply the remover to the smudges. Because, guys, did you know that when you're using a makeup remover, you have to put it on the makeup? I love how she's explaining these concepts. I thought they were obvious. But, yeah. The black was everywhere. It was a mess. She turned on the faucet and wet the cloth, then began to wipe away the black. She was glad to see it all washing off. Usually what happens. Lizard, if you abuse the power, I'll take it away. Ami, I'm sorry. You got 300 seconds, 5 whole minutes of being timed out because Lizard's being a butthead. Stop it. Why does she write the male character as someone who infantilizes her female? It's very creepy. You see, Liberty is a conservative woman, which means that she grew up with conservative values, which means that she believes that men are the end-all, be-all to everything. I have created a monster. This was my bad. I apologize to everyone. Oops. Yeah, we get it, Lizard. You're straight white male that has a fucking dominance issue. Got it. Moving on. Curiosity mostly, said Ricky. Penance of a sort. I'm joining a feminist group. They expected me to go over to the other side and come back and report on it. Exactly how I chose to carry that out was up to me. She deliberately left out the part about the blog, because we're bringing up the blog again, you guys. She has a blog. Did you know that? She has a blog. Talking to Mike's twin sister was way different than talking to Mike. She could be as fresh and glib as she liked with men, but something about Michelle made her button up. She noticed the atmosphere of the house as soon as she passed through the door. Framed family photos, some from decades long past, hung on the walls. A well-worn Bible sat on an end table. A sense of respect for tradition permeated the place. Ricky must be on her best behavior. Liberty, do you like ladies? Is that what you like, ladies, right? You have to. I mean, you have to. She's conservative. What, did she suffer from indigestion? Yeah. Must have. Sorry, you guys. I dropped my phone. And it's, like, not in a phone case, so I have concerns. Anyhoozle. Are blogs still... Yes, blogs are still a thing, actually. Believe it or not. They're rare, but they do exist. Yeah. Okay. Really? Here's a comb. Michelle rummaged through the bottom drawer in the bathroom and brought out a new one. She opened the package and handed the comb to Ricky, because everyone has prepackaged combs, like individually wrapped combs, just hiding around in their bathroom. Remember this, guys. That's how you should treat your guests. Combs. Yeah, thanks. Ricky dragged the comb through her towel-dried hair. So I went there with certain expectations, but I didn't find at all what I was looking for. And you thought you'd find racists? Again with this. Oh my God, why? Liberty, we get it. You want to perpetuate this notion that Trump supporters aren't racist, so you keep having them say, what, did you think we were racists? Fuck off, my dude. If a guy makes your butt go numb, it may be time to find a bigger size of it. Yeah. Okay, look. I will do that all I want. Liberty is very much obsessed with racists. Very much obsessed with racists. Continuing. Ricky stopped combing and turned away from the mirror. She spoke carefully, knowing that Michelle was studying with close intent this creature brought home by her brother. It wasn't suspicion Ricky felt coming from her, but rather caution. It would make sense that Mike and Michelle were of the same mindset. After all, they came from the same family. Ami, I fixed your problem. You can question his power all you want, because you have the same power. Well, she said, at the very least, I knew I expected to disagree with most everything I saw and heard. I think she's more obsessed with convincing others that she's not a racist. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Way to dehumanize herself by calling her a creature. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I do that all the time. I think I'm a creature. Happens to the best of us. But, like, at least I'm confident in the fact that I'm a creature. Ricky needs to grow up. And, oh, there was plenty to disagree about, she said. But I was surprised, too. Turn around. said Michelle. Let me check the back of your hair. Ricky obeyed. She could see both of them in the mirror now. She was watching Michelle examine her hair. What were you surprised about? Michelle asked. Mostly that it was full of genuinely nice people, like your brother, and now you. He saved me from the middle of the riots. That's Mike, she said. He thinks of other people before himself. She smoothed Ricky's hair in place. No more green. No, we aren't going to see a battle of the mods because mods cannot time each other out or like delete each other's messages and stuff. Only I can do that. And I mean, if they want to like throw insults back and forth and stuff, I'm not going to stop it. I think it's funny. Somebody tell Liberty that it's not working. It's not working. It's not. Yeah, it's not. Thanks, said Ricky. She checked herself closely in the mirror. He's taking me to my parents' house. They don't like when I color my hair, so I wanted to wash it out. It netted him exactly one schmeckel. Of course. Michelle gave Ricky a look of respect. Ricky was happy she'd made a good impression. It had been a long day. She was emotionally drained by the riot and the escape from it. Michelle's approval eased her anxiety. Mike was waiting for them when Ricky walked into the living room. She entered a bit shyly, feeling like she was presenting herself to a man on their first date. No. 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 Hey, wait, no. You can't dock my pay. I make 0. Without the colors, she looked, she knew, like a woman who would fit in at the rally. A woman who might attract the attention of the man now checking her out. His hair was wet from the shower, curled and a little drippy. His shirt was blue instead of white, but the same style. He was undeniably handsome, and his reaction at the sight of her made her breath come up short. She'd never been studied with such intensity. His head whipped up and his eyes opened wide. A burst of energy between them hit her straight in the heart. She looked away, but his gaze stayed fixed on her. She had to press her lips together and draw in her throat real tight to keep from smiling hard when she looked at him again. It didn't matter what happened between them anyway. Ricky's priority lay with her grad program, her position in the department, and most of all, membership in the sisterhood. Preserving the worldview that took priority over a momentary flirtation. The membership tea would take place on Friday, where she would be inducted. She would not sacrifice that for any male, especially one like Mike. No, there is not a plot. There is not a plot. This is just, this is Liberty trying to convince people that she and other conservatives are not racists, that liberal women are just green-haired conservatives in disguise, I guess. I think that's where we're at. Fuck. Well, then I guess I'm going to have to change my attitude, huh? Or I won't. Yeah. Let's do that one. Ready to go? Ricky nodded. Let me get my things. Sure, Mike said. I'll wait in the truck. That's how they ended. We're already through chapter 7, you guys. We're on chapter 8 now. These are very short chapters. This is a very sad book. Very sad book. If he'd been standing up when Ricky came out into the living room, he might have fallen over. The transformation from freakish liberal to wholesome girl next door was radical in and of itself. But do you really want her to get the dick of a rapist? I wouldn't. And there she was again, standing beneath the front porch light, saying goodnight to Michelle. All he wanted was to get close, physically close. Mind you, he had only known her for a few hours. Remember this, you guys. The closer, the better. He scrambled from the driver's seat and sprinted around to open the door for the all-American girl who was no longer the blathering lib of 30 minutes ago. Wow. Way to be an asshole, my dude. She just hadn't figured it out. Yet. You did miss a whole hour, Two Guns, but at the same time, you missed nothing except more stupidity. Terrible. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to keep going because I love to torture you guys and you guys love the torture. Let's go. Gosh, you look great. I mean, beautiful. He sounded like a jerk, but the words came out before he could form a coherent thought. Daggers came out from her eyes. If they were real, they'd go straight into his heart. That meant he'd had the desired effect. He reached for the door handle. Don't bother. She tried to grab it first. And don't call me that. Beautiful? You don't like the thought of beautiful? You won't even let me be nice to you? He laughed, even though she really knew how to piss a guy off. Any guy but him, that is. Another time, he'd have hung back, worried about what she thought, let her nail him. Now he knew better. He opened the door and chuckled. Nope, he said. What I say goes. My house, my truck, my rules. This is a rape scenario, you guys. This is a rape scenario, you guys. Yeah, see? Yeah. This is a bad. Yeah, oh no, this is a bad. Do not get into that car. Do not get into that car. Nope, here we go. She hoisted herself onto the seat in silence. Don't do that. You have a cell phone. Get an Uber. Call your parents. Get help. Don't get into the car with this man. My God. He closed the door softly. Sorry, my phone vibrated. No slamming. She was his precious cargo, not a buddy from work. This very much is a Forensic Files episode. Why did she get in the car? Why is he calling her precious cargo? I have so many concerns right now. This is a fictional character, and I am worried for her safety. Why'd she get in the truck? Don't do that. He climbed behind the wheel, leaned over, looked straight at her. Besides, it's my right as a toxic white guy to tell an intersectionally challenged female she's... Wow. It's his right as a toxic white guy to tell an intersectionally challenged female she's beautiful, especially without that crap on your face and hair. That's an actual sentence in this book. That's a thing. Yes, that was actually written down. That was written. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a screenshot. That's going to be saved. And that, Lizard, I will be posting to your Discord so that you can see it for yourself and know that much like the thing that I posted with the people at the rally, yeah, yep, it's a thing. There you go. Yep, yep, it's in the Discord. Yep. Yep. Read your writing out loud. Absolutely, 1000%. This feels like a Real Stories episode. Yes, it does. It does. Liberty is writing unsafe characters. She forgot to conserve safety. Yep. Yep. She ignored him, fingering the stitching on the upholstery, then ran her hand over the leather. She even gave a nod of approval. Black. It's nice. Nice house. Nice truck. So what capitalist enterprise lets you buy a vehicle of this sort and own your own home? What capitalist enterprise, guys? Construction. I'm a contractor. He backed out of the driveway and put the truck in drive, and my sister and I both own the house. She was eyeing him differently now than on the subway, at the diner, even on the walk home. He could feel her really study him. He was glad he'd worn his work uniform to the rally. He wanted her to see him this way. He wore this every day, even on weekends, even to presidential rallies. Button-down shirt, not a dress shirt an executive would wear to the office, but one that wouldn't look out of place under a sport coat either. One whose sleeves he could roll up if he had to get his hands dirty. He wondered what she was thinking. He knew one thing. She took her time checking him out. He might have felt self-conscious about it, except he was enjoying busting her narrow world view. Wow. Yep. Yep. Yep, to both things that you have recently said in the chat, Lizard. Yep. Yep. Showing others... Liberty showing others that conservatives don't truly care about females, not even the fake ones. Yes. Wait, him and his sister own the same house. Yep. Was Liberty's best friend growing up her microwave? These characters are just hella shallow and undeveloped. Okay, so I am assuming, just remember you guys, this is an assumption here based off of the description of Liberty that I found and what we have read so far. Liberty grew up in some sort of fundy, like conservative religious household, got married, has to be readily available for her husband, hasn't left home without her husband since they got married, probably has a bunch of kids. They never said how many kids she has, just that she has kids, because she wears the hat of mother and community volunteer when she isn't wearing one of her many MAGA hats, apparently. So I think that any friends that she had were also overly conservative women because she wasn't allowed to be friends with the opposite sex unless they were intending on getting married. That is what I believe. Yeah. What about you? Teaching assistant, working on my master's degree. What's the master's in? Let me guess. Gender studies? Come on. Come on. How many stereotypes are you going to put into one book? Him and his sister co-own a house, and it's not because they're underpaid in a late-stage capitalist hellscape, because it's better to work until you're dead, because, like, values or something? Yes. 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 Also, yes, these characters are actually shallow and undeveloped, because the author is shallow and undeveloped. That's right. You must have had 1,000 fits at the rally, everybody sticking to their socially constructed gender roles. Because you can totally see people sticking to gender rules at a rally where they just sort of hang out, right? That's how this works. I think him and his sister do questionable things together. I would not be surprised. So his assumptions are always correct and hers are invalid. It must be her vagina. Yes. Yes. It absolutely is. Oh, see, Lizard, this is the reason why dude in your chat last night thought that I was property and that you should share me. Because, yeah, that's how it works, right? I made friends with over 3 genders in high school. How did this lady get stuck only making friends with one? Because you grew up in a, I'm assuming, a fairly liberal area, while this lady is probably older Gen X, closer to boomer, and hasn't left her bubble ever. Because that's how it works. See, Ami, I don't know if you knew this, but there are people that get educated at their dining room table and are taught conservative Christian values without ever meeting other people. It's a thing that happens. It's unfortunate, but it's a thing that happens. Ladies First, starring Marjorie Taylor Greene, showing exclusively on Fox Business. Yes. Dude in the chat, the one that censors his own speech because he's a bitch. Yup, that same one. That same one. Friendly reminder, you guys. It's very much okay to say, fuck Joe Biden. Even if you voted for Biden, because he was the lesser of 2 evils, you can still say, fuck Joe Biden. The right can't meme. The left is terrible at their own fair share of things too. Everyone's bad at everything, okay, you guys? But, like, you can still say, fuck Joe Biden. It's that easy. Just a thought. Continuing. She sighed. Maybe except for the female security. They kicked ass. But the rest of it, I didn't quite know what to make of it. The rest of what? I'm not sure how to describe it, but it was different. Diversity, inclusion. There's no diversity and inclusion at a Trump rally. Get it together, Liberty. That's what I want to know. My brain just short-circuited reading that. Thank you. Thank you, Two Guns. Like, I'm reading this just fine, but your comment fucked me up. Yeah, thanks. Any hoozle. That surprised me, but there was something more. Everybody was so happy and nice. Even when they found out who I was, they said, welcome, and we hope you enjoy it. It creeped me out. If not for the blog, I would have left early. It's got to be a cult. People just aren't that together on anything unless they've somehow been brainwashed. He laughed out loud at that. Did she even know what she was saying? Liberty, do you even know what you're writing, honey? Oh my God. Guys, I can't with this bitch. But we're going to keep going. Because I've only been streaming for an hour and I've got time. But you didn't walk out, did you? Geez, people are happy and you get pissed. I'm not pissed, except there she was, looking angry again. Friendly reminder, all women are always angry all the time for no fucking reason. Apparently. Like when they first got to the diner. Like when he tried to offer her an empty seat on the subway. He changed the subject. Since there's nowhere in the real world to earn a living with a degree like that, you must plan to indoctrinate others in the evils of mom and dadhood at the university. Bro, I don't know if you knew this, but there are feminists that are mothers. There are feminists that are mothers. I'm an equality feminist. I have a kid. Liberty, did you know that it's possible to believe in equality for all genders and still be a parent? It's crazy how this works. Fuck. I'm covered, she said. Not that I'll need it, but I've got an undergrad in business. He laughed again, harder this time. Business, that's a joke, right? Want to run mine? Then you'll find out how the real world operates. calling in your receivables to make payroll because you've got employees with kids that need to be fed. After about 2 weeks of that, you'll toss that socialism shit right into the window. Wow. What the fuck are you writing, Liberty? Yes. Feminism equals fascism. But remember, the anti-fascists are setting fires at the Trump rallies because they were paid. I don't. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Fucking. Are women just not supposed to be able to get business degrees? Is that what he's saying here? Like, women just, they can't have a business degree? I have concerns. I am confused. Yeah. You didn't let me finish. There's more. I said I wouldn't need the business degree. Actually, I did it because my parents insisted I get a degree that could support me financially. The master's I'm paying for on my own. But next election, we'll get a president with student loan forgiveness and free college. Liberty, it's really nice to know that you have no idea how politics works. The president himself cannot just declare that there is going to be student loan forgiveness and free college. What he can do is he can suggest policies that allow for certain types of student loan forgiveness and certain types of free college. But it's all very specific. It's very obvious that you know nothing of politics and how it works. And I implore you to please go touch grass. Smoke some grass. Meet people. People are good sometimes. People are helpful. Once again, conservatives mixing up feminism and anti-man again. Yep. 12 years of living in an abusive matriarchy of a home made me learn the difference. Yep. That'll do it. Fun fact, Trump paid people $50 a pop to go to his rallies and feign support in order for him to get more publicity. This was early in his campaign. Yes, it was. That was a thing that happened, you guys. You can actually Google that. That's real. Very much so. Free? So you'll teach for free, right? You didn't learn much in business school, did you? Who pays your rent then? You really don't know how this works, Liberty. Oh my God. Okay, so when there is the option of a free education, essentially what would happen is that the government itself would pay for the education, be it the federal government or the state and local government. They would have to allocate money in the yearly budget to pay for those teachers. So the teachers and stuff would still get paid. Taxes would probably have a slight increase depending on tax bracket to go towards the payment of those teachers, but it would still be a thing. Like it's not just some volunteer fucking learn how shit works, bitch. She sneered. This conversation was going way downhill, but he was drilling into her, he could tell. And he didn't care if he pissed her off or not. She was living in Disneyland thinking like this, and she wanted to teach others to adopt these beliefs. That money comes from the rich, not Brian here. Yep. Yeah. Oh, but see, Liberty doesn't understand that, which is why she wrote Jalen like this. You have to pay me way more. Same, Chris. Hi, Chris Durham. I'm so glad that you're here. Guys, if y'all didn't know, like, Chris Durham music channel puts out great fucking music, and you should totally go check their channel out, because, like, yeah, it's good shit. When will those loons learn that fascism and communism are the complete polar they won't. They will never learn, obviously. Yeah. There's so much money in this country, she said. There's no need for people to pay for healthcare, college, housing, anything. The government should pay for it all. That's not what most liberals believe. Did you know that what they believe in is affordable housing? See, there are these programs that people can get on where they match the cost of your rent to what you are paid so that you can afford living accommodations without having to work 5 fucking jobs. It's not a handout. It's trying to make it to where people can afford basic necessities. We're not saying, oh, government, pay for everything. We're saying, oh, hey, if we're not being paid a living wage, we should get the extra help to be able to afford shit. I just can't with this bitch. I can't. You did tell me. Oh my gosh. Sorry I went dark for a second there, you guys, but yeah. I don't have my ring light on. I'm just using the computer. Why do I need to work 9 to 5 just to survive? Well, that's the thing, Lizard. You not only work a 9 to 5, you also work the overtime. You put in the extra work so that you can survive, so that you can afford stuff outside of your basic necessities. And it shouldn't be like that. I shouldn't be paying the money that I pay for a place that I don't live in right now. I mean, such is life. Yeah, he does have a bit of a steak addiction. I have given him too many steak recipes. My bad. And I helped him find the air fryer and the pour over coffee thing. I need to quit doing stuff for you. You should not buy this book. Yes, if you're not getting paid a living wage, just get a different job. Everyone's working overtime. Gotta love it. I got off early, but I worked because you work a physically laboring job. Like, it happens. Like, I just get to sit in front of my computer all day. But I mean, mine's mentally draining because people. I don't like people. Yes, Liberty Adams is very much a pseudonym. That is her pen name. Yep. How old are you? 8? Even an 8-year-old understands basic economics. Here's your weekly allowance, Johnny. Now give it back to me because even though you mowed the lawn, you didn't earn it. And I'm giving it to your sister because, well, she thinks she deserves it. That's not how that works. That's not how it works. Look, they can be both a deal and an addiction. Just saying. Howdy, howdy, Skits Crasher. It's very nice to see you. No, it wouldn't work that way. The government would give everyone the same amount of money, and we all spend it on the things we need. She was serious. She was looking at him as if he should change his mind, see things her way. I get it. So one of my guys working 32 floors up gets paid the same amount as someone on the ground teaching in a classroom or pushing pencils in an office. That's the way I see it. A guy who risks his ass every day like a coal miner, who works underground, who gets dirty, who wears himself out physically, has to retire early. All those guys should get paid the same as a preschool teacher, right? After taxes, you would make the same, yes. You're rich. You can afford it. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. A UBI, more often than not, would be something that the government pays out to people on top of a living wage that they already make. In fact, they are experimenting with that by sending people a certain amount of money each month and seeing how much better off their lives are. with that extra money from the government on top of what they are already earning at their jobs. It's like you exist, you should be contributing more to the economy, so we're going to give you this extra money to spend on the things that you need or the things that you want if you can already afford the things that you need from your job. I'm getting so mad at this, you guys. Yes. Yes, he is. Good old Christopher over here is very much a fuckwit. That's like the crack addict saying they get a good deal because they had to buy her. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Lizard has an addiction. Rich. By how much? Richer than you? Nobody forces you to work at a shit job indoctrinating dupes who can't even think for themselves. Don't make me laugh. She didn't respond. She sat in the front seat, fuming. Just drop me at the corner, okay? I'll walk the rest of the way. What? No. Look, I'm sorry if I insulted you, but I'm delivering you safe and sound to your parents' door. I'll shut up. But no arguments. Just tell me how to get to your house. They finished the ride in silence, but for Ricky's directions. When he turned into her parents' driveway, he left the truck idling and hopped out. She reached for the handle. I'll get the door, he said. Of course, she let herself out and nearly collided with him in the front of the truck. You just won't let anyone be nice to you, will you? That has nothing to do with it. What is it then? I'm a male chauvinist pig. All I smell is steak and all I see is jealousy. No, I'm not jealous. I had something really good earlier. You know, my cheddar bacon stuffed chicken. Oh, and I had a hoagie with that was, steak, peppers, onions. No cheese though, because like lactose intolerant. Gotta watch my cheese intake. Liberty is doing a fantastic job at pointing out so much that is wrong and vile about the MAGA movement. She is. She's great at this. She laughed at that. Finally. Now, he said. Is that so hard? It's why, she said, still laughing at him. I wouldn't ask you to go out with me. What? Where did that come from? Y'all have known each other for barely any time. Stop it. Well, I make it a point to not date Nazis. Where did that one come from? That's in here, you guys. Well, I make it a point not to date Nazis. He called her a Nazi. Why did he call her a Nazi? What? Without warning, she stepped in close, looking him right in the eye. His female defense shield went up. He wanted to back away, alert to danger, but instead he went still, waiting to see what she would do. She went up on her tiptoes and softly kissed him on the mouth. She would never do that if she were a real person. That did come way out of right field. He called her a Nazi, so she kissed him. That's where we're at, you guys. He called her a Nazi, so she kissed him. They stayed together like that for several seconds. He broke away first, gently, and looked at her. Her eyes were still closed. Her pale lashes lay on her cheek. She came back down and opened them, keeping her gaze to his, while he swallowed hard and tried to ignore the rushing sound in his head. She could play with a man's senses as well as any. She had to have known what she was doing. You're not as smart as you think you are you? She said. You shouldn't have done that. I do lots of things I shouldn't, she said. She turned and flounced away. Have a nice life. That is not how humans operate. You're absolutely correct. I generally don't kiss dudes that stalk me, treat me like shit, and call me a Nazi. That's generally not how it works. That's no. Kill people with kindness, right? We smooch under this exact property. Yeah. More beer for me, dealing with whatever this is. I wish I had beer, but I don't. If anyone wants to pay for me to get beer tomorrow, my Cashtag is BabyKillerMango. Let's continue, shall we? Because we're on chapter 9, you guys. We're an hour and 25 minutes into the stream. We have read chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. And somehow we're only on page 39 of 79. No, I do not have a PayPal. I do need a puppers. Maybe a bottle of Bussin' Brew. Gustin' Brew. Fuck. I fucked that one up. I'm not even doing anything tonight. Fuck. Let's keep going, shall we? As if it weren't enough, the white guy with the red neck thought it would be cute to shove me into a group of these white supremacists. Ricky looked up from reading aloud her rally blog post and surveyed the large, formal living room of the sisterhood president, Amber Maroney. Liberty, take a page from your fictional character and read what you write out loud. Because you sound really fucking stupid. Okie dokie? Is that fair? Can we do that? Is that the one? I think that's the one. The induction ceremony had come and gone. She was a full member. Here she was, drinking wine spritzers on a Friday at barely 1 in the afternoon. Whew, how fancy. She has wine spritzers, you guys. Oh, man. Just so amazing. Petra's parlance had received 12,000 hits in just 2 days. But she wasn't sure what bothered her more, sipping wine amidst the formal trappings of a university country club mansion overlooking the 7th fairway that was owned by the president of the university's most radical feminist group, or her anxiety at having publicly told such a big fat lie. That was a really fucking long sentence, you guys, and it was unnecessarily long. Really fucking long for no reason. If she were being honest, Ricky would be outraged. Isn't this what the organization constantly railed against? After all, she had committed to a life that ran according to the trolley schedule and all its collective merits. She bought her clothes at the Goodwill because of her budget and because it was wrong to live any better than the least of society. That's not how feminists think. It's not. She rejected luxury in favor of a simple and austere way of life, frugal and plain. Right now, she felt like a sad dupe, but nobody else in the room seemed to notice the hypocrisy. Fun fact, a white wine spritzer is what got Flanders married in Vegas. That's a fun fact. I'm gonna watch Simpsons. Someone watch Simpsons with me. Yeah. Right now, she felt like a sad dupe, but nobody else in the room seemed to notice the hypocrisy. The only thing that saved her conscience at the moment was the fact that her story was vague enough that no person or event could be positively identified. She threw out thoughtless aspirations on the crowd in general, along with some murmurings of a few invented individuals that could amount to racist insults. She included an embellished encounter with the gun club rep, and even mentioned, in disparaging tones, the guy wearing the Democrat for Trump t-shirt. If her lies were discovered, her sisters would support her. Only the end, social justice, mattered. The means were subject to interpretation. The white guy with the red neck drove me physically into the midst of the melee. Ricky paused before resuming her recitation of her Petra's Parlance blog post. He was a man you see everywhere. Beer gut, work pants, and steel-toed work boots. And he used those steel toes against the innocent protesters to great effect, kicking, pushing, shoving. He went crazy in the midst of the action. I happened to be standing right next to him the moment he exploded. He didn't even see me. If the anti-fascists had not pulled me to safety, the redneck would simply have mowed me down. I could have been hurt. Ricky looked around at the women, now her lifetime blood sisters, all leaning toward her in silence. All eyes on her face. Maybe killed. A silent but collective intake made the room go still, and then a unanimous burst of applause broke out. She sat back, pleased with the reception, but she could not bask comfortably in the glory of her fellow feminists. I hate this so much, you guys. I have so many regrets. What Ricky was really contemplating was the kiss she had given Mike. It was an impulsive act, a Judas kiss, meant as a sign that she would soon betray his kindness in the blog post she was about to write. It worked, too. The kiss's inspiration allowed her to write the post very quickly, but her lips had not recovered. Even after 3 days, they felt uncomfortably warm. Why does she think the press reports favorably about Antifa? Because she's stupid. Liberty is a cow. She thinks people just assume everything about her and her ilk and make up lies, but all we do is watch, listen, and respond. Yeah, that's exactly right. But, yeah. We're just terrible people. Didn't you know? Let's continue, shall we? How did you know who this guy was? The redneck? She'd been trying not to think about him all morning. Actually, for the past 3 days, she thought about little else except the feel of his mouth against hers. Its softness surprised her. Yielding and eager, his desire came forth in that very instant. She held the kiss until he broke away. If he hadn't stopped when he did, she would have surrendered completely to it. Sounds like she hasn't... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she has an infection. Particularly one of the brain, because for some reason she thinks that rapist dude is good people for her and is like stuck on his kiss, and I don't know how to feel about that, personally. I think this is bad in many ways. I met him at the rally, she managed to say. He wasn't too bright. I convinced him I was on his side, so he felt free to express himself. What does he do? He's in construction, runs a construction management firm, commercial. Right now he's at the Place 4 project downtown. You should have asked him for a date, came the wisecrack a few seats down. Everybody laughed. So did Ricky. Across from her, perched on a richly carved mahogany chair with needlepoint upholstery, Maya Kimball said, "Great post, Petra." The women looked at her knowingly. "And I love the lav." Ricky smiled. She ran her fingers through her hair, tinted lavender for the occasion. "Thank you, Maya." We all need a hug right now, listening to this. We all need a fucking hug. Ricky, go to the fucking clinic, you idiot. Yes. Doubt Liberty has spent much time outside the MAGA echo chamber. No, she's been stuck inside of it since before it became the MAGA echo chamber. It's just been like a far right echo chamber, and now they have, a figurehead, Trump. Yeah. Also, no one calls lavender lav, you guys. Anyone I know that has had lavender hair has either said lavender or purple, not lav. Today's meeting had the feeling of an elaborate banquet, an overload of emotions and images with too much falsehood and very little truth. Conflicting guilt tore through her from reading aloud of her blog and the lies contained in it. Writing and posting in solitude was cleaner, easier. The cult-like reactions from her readers, from the women in the room, only brought more inner conflict and guilt. She suddenly was anxious to leave, but it wasn't over yet. Melissa Harding. Amber Maroney spoke up again. This time her tone was sharp. The group shifted in their chairs as Melissa stood and walked to the front of the group, an expression of slight puzzlement on her face. That is not a theme. You are right. It is not a theme. Not a theme one bit. Not a theme. We have made it to chapter 10. Guys, we've made it to chapter 10. Page 42 of 79, because these chapters are really fucking short and contain a lot of nothing except confusion and anger. What's going on? Ricky whispered to her roommate, Karen. Oh yeah, you guys remember her roommate's name is Karen. I forgot about that. Her roommate's name is Karen. Karen had been a member for over 6 months. Ricky hoped she'd fill her in. She did not like the tone of this upcoming event. You think you have guessed where Lizard is? At his house in Ohio? I mean, like, making fun of Shani in the way that she doesn't say her G's. It's pretty much all it is. Like, we say theme, we say lawn. I'm surprised, honestly, that we haven't heard Shani say the word big. How would she pronounce that? Does she say the G in the word big? Has she ever said the word big? Someone report back. You dox yourself all the time, Lizard. The best part was all Karen would say. Her hand was held out to shush Ricky's questions. Karen's face had a grin Ricky had never seen before. The rest of the group looked slightly crazed, furrowed brows and wide open eyes, and their postures tilted at the subject. Melissa just looked scared. This is really creepy. Guys, never join an organization like this. This sounds bad. I did blow the case wide open. Thank you, Ami. Amber rose from her plush, velveteen navy blue armchair and stood next to Melissa, then firmly pushed down on the girl's shoulder, pushing her to her knees. She unrolled a piece of parchment and read from it. So this is the best part. Ricky thought that her induction was to be meeting's highlight, but it was only the warm-up for what's to come. For the egregious offense of having a father who is an officer of the Miami-Dade police force, an occupation marked by racial injustice toward marginalized communities led by this illegitimate government, Melissa Harding is hereby censured and shunned for a period not to exceed 90 days to commence immediately. Liberty, is this what you think that liberals believe in doing? That we have these weird cults that do shit like this? It's not a thing. It's never been a thing. In fact, this is just bad. This is very badly written. It looks very bad. Sounds very bad. It's all just bad. I have no other words except terrible, bad, horrible, no good. Fuck off. Melissa covered her face with both hands and pitched herself face first onto the floor. Ricky watched, horrified by what was happening. When the women stood in unison and turned their backs on Melissa, she did the same. The next few minutes were excruciating. All Ricky could think of was her own father, not a police officer, but an avid outdoorsman and hunter. Karen was the only one in the sisterhood who knew of it. Would hunting and her family be grounds for shunning? She hoped she could trust Karen to not tell. All the women turned around. Melissa was gone, somehow whisked out of their sights. Amber acted as though nothing amiss had taken place. Before I dismiss you ladies, she said, anyone is welcome to stay for cigars and whiskey in the sunroom. Otherwise, see you at next month's meeting. Thank you, Thesaurus. Lizard's a thesaurus, and I appreciate them. In silence, the room cleared. The women picked up their bags and exited Amber's elitist nest of unearned luxury. Just out of curiosity, how long is the book? 10 chapters in such a small number of pages kind of shows the capacity of Liberty's brain and creativity. Super Ghost. We are on page 42 of 79. Yeah. Page 42 of 79. And we're like halfway through this page, actually. Yes, she is. She has to be. What is this Antifa sorority I've never heard of in my life? It is fiction, Bill. It is called the Sisterhood, and it is fiction. The best fictional sisterhood that I've ever encountered was one with traveling pants. I still love that book. It was great. Yes, Lizard, it's 79 pages long, and we are on page 42. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's not a book. It's a pamphlet. The only reason that I'm calling it a book is because it is very excruciating, much like most of the books that I had to read in middle school and high school. Yeah. Dull, boring, excruciating. Aggrafretting, as my grandfather would say. It's aggrafretting. Out the front door, into the brightness of the day, Ricky leaned over and asked Karen, still in a whisper, "Does this happen often?" "All the time." Karen regarded the whole thing with a shrug. "That's why it doesn't bother me. In fact, I look forward to it." She looked at Ricky and frowned. "Don't worry. It will probably happen to you sometime." Did Melissa know this ahead of time? Nobody knows this ahead of time. We all have to come to terms with our sins. You know, do penance. The shunning is painful, but then it ends. Really, Rick, it just reminds you to be mindful of your privilege. This organization isn't open to everyone, you know. Guys, your parents' occupation, your parents and what they do for fun, they're not your sin. In fact, most of the time it really has nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own life choices. And yeah, but it's not a sin. Yeah. She and Karen caught a ride to the trolley line and then rode the two stops home. Karen chatted happily about the meeting. Ricky, circumspect, couldn't get out of her mind the bizarre image of Melissa on her knees, a look on her face like she wanted to die. Maybe it was the wine making her feel tipsy and off-kilter. Maybe it was the giant lie of the blog post, her fear of being discovered that her own father hunted the food on the family table. A lot of people do that. What? Sin is subjective. It truly is. My mask is the two-headed goat at the Antifa BBQ. Amen. They keep using the word sin, but I don't think it means what they think it means. It does not. It does not. Friendly reminder, you guys. It actually really is beneficial, especially if your area doesn't have any limits on hunting certain wildlife during the season, like deer. It really is cheaper and more beneficial to get your hunting license, shoot the deer, or just shoot fucking deer if they allow for that, and then take it to a butcher. Like you'll get great meat. They'll clean it. They'll butcher it. They'll do everything for you for a fee. And then you won't have to worry about buying meat for a while from the grocery store because that gets expensive. Also, if you have a local 4-H program, you can buy a steer from them and take it to get butchered as well. Mm-hmm. Cheaper. Easier. Most of the time. Just saying. It's a thought. The fact that Ricky did not hunt, had no desire to, and had recently given up eating meat might not matter in this case. And how would the sisterhood even find out? That might be the most disturbing question of all. What? Are they just like investigating everyone? Is that? Yeah. See, it's great. They entered the building. Karen took the elevator to their apartment while Ricky stopped to collect the mail. Hey there, Miss Petra. She forgave Jack, the building super, for calling her Miss, maybe because he used her secret pen name Petra. It had become a joke between them. Hey, Jack. She locked the mailbox and finished through the stack. Jack wore his usual work belt laden with tools and carried a fiberglass stepladder. She smiled at him, ready for a bit of tit for tat. Jack's face had a really funny look. Not joking, not his usual cheerful self. I read your blog post. Oh? She wanted to sound casual, but Jack's lack of joking and cheer had her on edge. Jack was looking at the floor, not at her, shaking his head. Not cool, Petra. Not cool. What do you mean? Her stomach bounced a little as she waited to hear him out. She fiddled with the stack of envelopes in her hand. Jack had read her writing before, and almost always disagreed. He always made sure to let her know, too, where he thought she was wrong. It never put a strain between them, probably because their acquaintance was so casual that politics wasn't really an issue. But today, even before he began to talk, she felt his judgment. Her defenses rose. Kinda sounds like Liberty is a fan of fascism. Kinda. Tit for tat, nipple for ink, titty for tattoo. I mean, I have a tattoo by my titty. Kind of cool, I hear. Rumor has it that there are people that like it, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, you guys can go hit the like button and, do whatever. I should probably, say something about that in my streams, but I don't. Yeah, Lizard, you're right. Advertising yourself in these things is very hard. I keep not doing it. You talked about the rally the other day, right? She nodded, not liking the direction this conversation was going. I hate to say this, I really do. You and me, we always got along, right? But Miss Petra, you're full of it. And you have to know it. I was there. I was at that rally. None of that happened. Look at me. I'm a black man. If anybody saw white supremacists, Jack stuck his head out the back door of the building and spat onto a patch of lawn. That would be me. And I'll tell you for a fact that stuff you wrote, bullshit. All of it. I will take things that would never, ever happen for 600, Alex. Jack picked up the ladder and headed toward the back of the building, onto whatever task came next on his endless list. Just before he reached the corner, he turned back. You wrote a big lie, and innocent people are out there, and your group and the people like them just want to destroy those good, innocent people. Ricky stared after Jack. She couldn't think of anything to say, but she was angry. Angry because someone who spent his days as a janitor dared to call her out. Brett, you just said that he's the super. He's the building super. The super is usually the person that does the most in a building and is not just a janitor. Liberty, your privilege and your stupidity is fucking showing. Advertising is a bitch, but not as big of a bitch as Liberty. The people at the rally were guilty of all the injustice she could name, and she could name a lot. And Jack, a man of color, one of the oppressed, should know better. After all, she wrote the column on behalf of him and all the marginalized peoples of the world, the people forgotten and despised by this president. And here, he defended the hate. She couldn't understand it. Liberty, Liberty, have you met people from your political party? outside of your husband and outside of other, I assume, trad calf wives? I'm gonna guess no, because this is painful. Liberty needs a swift cinder block to the head in Minecraft. Yeah. Except it stung, because she had lied, and she resented having to face the truth of what she had done, and nothing she said to him would change that fact. Is it mandatory to bleach your eyes and brain after this MAGA dung pile? Yes. It is. Yes. Are we sure this isn't some male conservative masquerading as a conservative female? I don't feel right calling them human, let alone people. To my knowledge, from the research that I have done on Liberty Adams is actually female. But yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Real bad. I don't feel comfortable calling her human, but that's just personal. And that lie had brought her exactly what she hoped for: membership in the sisterhood, and a story that was now going viral. She, as Petra's parlance, had become famous in less than 24 hours. Yes, she had made up every bit of that post. There was nothing truthful about it, but that was beside the point, because the point was to equal the imbalance in the scales of justice. And this was the way, and it was a very good way. She had chosen to go about it. The women today would applaud her courage, spread the story far and wide. It would earn her much acclaim in her world, no matter how small. As soon as she reached her apartment, she fired up her laptop, ready to scroll through and answer the dozens, by now perhaps hundreds, of emails and comments she knew would be waiting. She could answer each one. She would. She set to work. An hour later came a buzz on her phone. Her mom texting, "Come home ASAP. We need to talk." Funnily enough, I have never played Minecraft. I am almost 30, and I have never played Minecraft. She does not know Dayway. She does not smell of the Ebola. Just so you know. Guys, we're on page 46 of 79, and this is chapter 11. Yeah, this is where we're at. We're on chapter 11. We are 2 hours into the stream, and we're on chapter 11. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read chapter 11, and that is where we will end things, is after chapter 11, because it is 11:13 p.m. I am getting very tired of this book. We will definitely do a part 3 soon. So let's do this chapter, shall we? Trolley ridership was light this afternoon, but Ricky mostly thought about the last time she saw Mike and what it felt like when he looked at her in his living room after she'd washed her hair and taken off the black makeup. And then there was that kiss. Not even her parents' summons could cool that lingering heat. "You have an infection. Go get checked." So strange it would stay there for 3 days. Through the writing and posting of her blog, the weird triumph of today's induction into the sisterhood even override the unease of Melissa Harding's shunning and Jack's failed attempts to shame her. And ever since she'd impulsively put that kiss on Mike's face, she'd wondered what her life would be like to have a guy, a lover, not a friend, even, heaven forbid, a husband. She must be getting older or getting soft. Guys, you can have a lover. You can have a long-term relationship with a partner and not even worried about getting married. I know people that have been together for over a decade that aren't married because what's the point? Quit pushing this ideal that people have to get married because they don't. Also, quit pushing this ideal that, like, women need to be in relationships. I think I'm doing okay-ish. Just saying. Either way, Mike didn't really enter into that picture. She had only been the catalyst for the new notion of boyfriend. Mike could never pass the test of right guy for Ricky, and the reasons were so obvious she did not even need to list them. You're not going to list them because you don't know what you're talking about here, Liberty. You don't know how people work. You don't know how people do things. You don't know how people operate. I could keep going. Okay. Although, now that she thought of it, she couldn't picture Mr. Right either. She dropped the idea. She focused, instead, on the turn her life had taken. The blog post that was a lie now surpassed 15,000 hits. She was fast becoming a public figure. She'd been booked on a local podcast, scheduled for 8 p.m. tonight. A growing number of woke folks on her side wanted eagerly to hear about her adventures in racist land. As much as she looked forward to getting her long-awaited tattoo tomorrow, this new phase held a promise for Ricky she never could have foreseen. It was a chance to spend the woke view of the world. She tamped down the nagging uncertainty dredged up by Amber's hypocrisy and Jack's calling out of her dishonesty and walked the short distance from the trolley to her parents' house, ready to meet the challenges of high-visibility future. Guys, that was one page and one really big run-on sentence, and that was all of chapter 11. We're on page 47. We're on chapter 12. How? Why? This isn't supposed to work out this way. Spoiler alert, Darth Vader kills Dumbledore with a bucket of water and finds all Infinity Stones. Who knew there would be such a twist? I know. It's the biggest twist of them all. I'm just... I don't know what to make of this. Why is it so short? Why was that chapter only a page and a run-on sentence? How's that a chapter? Liberty. Why? This book is starting to make me so sleepy. And I drink an energy drink. I was still drinking my energy drink on camera. I'm exhausted. I am mentally fucking exhausted at this shit. Okay. So we've gone 2 hours, roughly. We're on chapter 12 of this book, pamphlet, whatever you want to call it. I am getting hungry. In case you missed what I said earlier, Lizard over here cannot stream on his channel due to an active community guideline strike. I think he said that it was Tuesday that he'll be able to stream on his channel again, his main channel. So please go to the backup channel. Let me post that link again for those that may not have seen it. Because we are doing brunch on Sunday. I don't know if he plans on doing anything tomorrow night. But, I mean, just, yeah. Go subscribe. Go hit the little bell thingy. Go do the things and the stuff. Hi, Lizard. Welcome back. But, yes, Lizard's backup channel is now there. See? That one. Go subscribe to it. Hit the bell. Brunch Sunday. Don't know about tomorrow. Yeah, see? Brunch is a go. So yeah, subscribe there. In my description, I forgot to mention this, but the other members of the Stream Pervs family, like Sir Little Wolf, the Horny Pearlfish, Vila Vendetta, Slim Living Cyborg, Pie Parrot, All of their links are down there. Please go subscribe to them. They are a lovely group of people, and I am so very glad to be a part of their little family. You're welcome, Lizard. I know I do too much. I will be back probably Monday or Tuesday to finish off this book. I am still working on the deep dive into Maury and Montel. I also have a stream about reality shows that should have never existed coming up because I do the most, apparently. I need to stop. So with that, thank you guys for being here. To anyone that watches in the future, thank you very much. I am still so sorry that you are listening to this thing that masquerades as a book. Yeah. If you guys need me, you know where to find me. Hiding around Discord. Yeah. Everyone be kind to each other. Unless you're Trump, then you can fuck off. Okay. I love you guys. I'm gonna go lay down and text people and be a bum. See y'all next time.